Greetings, honorable family. This is a public announcement. Jah Consuming Fire, brand new EP out now by Ijahstars, featuring artists like Empress Matiposa out of the VI Virgin Island. This EP is consists of 7 tracks. Songs like Life, No Dignity, 360 Degrees, Plea My Cause. This EP is out on all digital download platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, and much more. 360 Degree is blazing. Temperature so high. We are steam and blaze with Charlie Sana Haile Selassie I. Out now, Jah Consuming Fire. Check it out.
No call me no dark, trust me, fool. You not have to rate this.
About family and the Bible being, just speaking about one family. I also is someone who, boldly speak about polygamy as ancestral practice. How do the I respond to people who critique that label as a patriarchal thing or a regressive type of thing?
Well, it's because they don't understand. You see, polygamy benefit women more than men. Polygamy is not about men having many women, but it's about every woman having a husband. We have more women than men. And if we go on by this Western monogamy, Christian monogamy, toxic monogamy, that a man must be just a husband of one wife, many women will be left without a man in their life, and then they will continue to perpetuate this phenomena of the side chick. They're going to perpetuate this phenomena of cheating and so forth, because men by nature, particularly the African man is naturally heterosexual. As a heterosexual male, he is by nature polygamous. He is by nature a man of more than one partner. It's been proven through history. When you see the African man being monogamous with one woman, he's either socialized through the society he grew up in, which is influenced by Christianity and Christian monogamy. It's either socialization or religiousization, or because of he's a Christian and his Christian religion said he must have one woman. And the same thing that Rasta has adopted, because Rasta is trying to adopt the religion of Haile Selassie as a foundation of their Rastafari liberty, and still turn around and say Rastafari is not a religion, but the foundation of their liberty is a religious, because they are using the Bible and they're using Christian examples, and they are using the Ethiopian Orthodox matrimonial system or marriage of Haile Selassie. But if you going to again go beyond this religious thing and look at it holistically, you're going to understand that a man, by his nature, men on a daily basis produce millions of sperm. Man is the only creature that God created to have sex every day. Women, they go through their periods. Women, they go through pregnancy. Someone during pregnancy, they don't sleep with men, because the society they come from or the culture they come from, they say, if the child inside of the womb is a boy, then the father is committing sodomy with his child. And if the child inside the womb is a girl, then the father is committing incest with his daughter. And something further after pregnancy, during breastfeeding, and all those first 2 to 3 years, they don't engage in sexual intercourse as long as they're still breastfeeding their children. So a man who should be catered for is not patriarchy, his biology. His biology is designed that way. And that is where we say our biology, our ideology should be our biology. What guides our ideology should be our biology, not something that is not biologically connected with us, like patriarchy. Patriarchy is not biological. There is nothing. Patriarchy is not inspired by biology. It's inspired by ideas, Western chauvinism, among others, ideas to dominate women and so forth. Now, when you speak of polygamy, you're not speaking of something that comes from an ideology. You speak of something that comes out of biology. You're speaking of biology tells us that we have more women than men. It's biology. It's not ideology. It's just the way it is. You can go to any hospital and you look at, you go to the labor ward where women are giving birth and ask them the statistics. You're only to find, but by any other time, that the children who were born there are more girls than boys. Now we're living in a society that is more obsessed with empowering women. They say they are correcting the mistakes of patriarchy. Our women are over-empowered, and as a result, they find it difficult to find their partners because they start to say, oh, I'm an independent and powerful woman. I intimidate men. Men are afraid of approaching me because I'm over-accomplished. I move with my car, I have my house, I have my salary. So it's creating more problem because it's not a society based on balance. It is, and it's not based on biology. It is based on ideology, and this ideology is today referred to as patriarchy and as something very evil. The people who are opposing patriarchy, they are themselves advocating matriarchy, which is another form of extremity, and that is not how the African society worked. The African society was based on balance, what you call ma'at, harmony, justice, and order, among other things. It was a Ma'atian civilization, now which was always looking at the balance of the male and the female, and not balance in a Western concept of balance or in a Judeo-Christian concept of balance, like how Rasta said, because His Majesty have this one wife called Empress Rasta, so therefore, they say it's balance. When Rasta talk about balance, you usually talk about this monogamous man, but that is not balance. Balance is that there must be equity and equality and equal distribution of male energy among the female. Hence, I say that polygamy is not even about men having men, women. Polygamy is about every woman having a man. And in the African culture, like if you read one of these books, In Love of My Children, by Credo Motra, it tells about the evolution of polygamy in the African societies, that it was established by women. It's not part of a patriarchal society. It's part of matriarchal society. When Africa was ruled by women, these women, they knew they formed part of the midwife. They knew that they were the ones responsible for census among their communities, and they always come to the conclusion that there are more women than men. Even our proverbs, our idioms, our witty sayings that justify polygamy, they are very feminine. When you hear the proverbs that are talking about polygamy, they are very feminine. They talk about men is an X that we borrow each other. Now, men can't say that. Men can't say men is an X, we borrow each other, unless those men are Batman. But now, if you're looking at it from where it was attacked, these were women saying, men is an X, we borrow each other. Men is a mist that fall by the night and cover everywhere. Men is this man. So they are very feminine, even the proverbs that justify polygamy. Remember that the West is fundamentally homosexual, and Africa is fundamentally heterosexual. The African man in a normal African society is either polygamous or promiscuous, but he's never monogamous. He's never been the husband of one wife. There's no record before slavery of the African man being monogamous. There were a lot of cultural expectation that expected him to have more than one wife, to take care of other women within the society he lived in, the widows, or if his wife is barren, he need to take another wife. And not put away the other because they did not allow a system of divorce and so on. So usually, which we find it very strange, usually it's always monogamy questioning polygamy. You never found polygamy questioning monogamy and say, are you normal? In a world where there are so many women, why do you say men must only have one? What's going to happen to these other women? Is it really normality? You don't find polygamy doing that. But you find monogamy not only questioning polygamy, but even defining polygamy, even prescribing it. Sometimes they tell that, okay, fine, we will allow it only if it is so and so and so, or only if it is done this way, this way, this way. But these are monogamy. And the most problems we have in the world come from monogamy. Even the first sin, according to the Bible, the first sin comes from a monogamous family, the family of Adam and Eve. There was just one man and one woman and two spoiled brats, and then one killed one another, the other one killed his brother, and then the world was plunged into sin. So we don't even biblically have a good example of monogamy, but we have a lot of examples of polygamy biblically, that some of those men who were in polygamy, one of them was called a friend of God, Abraham, is referred to as a friend of God. Another one was called the heart of God, King David. The other one was called the wisest man on earth ever, Solomon.
Solomon, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, all those polygamous men in the Bible, they never even offended God. And all monogamous men in the Bible, they've all sinned against God from Adam. So we are sold this idea of monogamy as perfect. But if you study it closely, it's not a perfect system of relationship. And it has produced this side chick phenomena. It has produced the Ben 10 phenomena. It has produced the gold digger phenomena. It has produced all type of dysfunctional European psychological tendencies that are defining the black man and the black woman's relationship.
How do African women participate in a shape polygamous tradition, contrary to colonial narrative of victimization or victimhood?
Well, I'll give you an example that is close to home. I grew up in a polygamous family. My father had 9 wives and 52 of us.
Wow.
So I have 51 siblings, brothers and sisters.
Wow.
His father had 12 wives. And his father's father, my great-grandfather, had 14 wives. I can count to, I'm the 7th generation to the way I can count of polygamous men. And what I found is that polygamy is determined by different factors. Sometimes it's determined by the fact that the first wife is barren, or you went and get yourself a Zulu woman while you are not a Zulu man, while you are a different ethnic group, maybe you are a Xhosa, and then your ancestors tell you that no, you want the wife of our choice. Or maybe you are from the royal family and then they want the royal blood among the wives. So there's always been many reasons. But I've seen, even in my own context, that women who become part of polygamy, they do so voluntarily. Some will say the first wife had no choice. You just come and tell her that I'm taking the second wife. But if you did tell her from the beginning that me, I'm a polygamous man, I'm going to marry more other wives after you, she's got a choice to stay or to leave. But the second wife and the third wife and the fourth wife, they made a choice. They knew. You told them there's someone here. And they come willingly. and said, okay, I'll be the second wife, I'll be the third wife, I'll be the fourth wife. I mean, even until yesterday, I get women who approach me and say, can I be one of your wives? Not me approaching them, but them saying, can I be one of your wives, you know? But, you know, I'm sterile now. I've got 4 kids. I don't want to make babies anymore, but I just want to be one of your wives. And biblically, in the book of Isaiah, verse 1, the Bible is saying, in the last days, 7 women shall take hold of one man, and they shall come with their food and their clothes. It's different from how the relationship is set up today, you know. Today, you have to be rich to date a broke woman here in Africa. You have to be very rich to date a broke woman. A broke woman who every now and then say you are broke for being unable to do for her what she can't do for herself. Who spend a lot of time gaslighting you, emotionally blackmailing you, and guilt-tripping you. Women that today when you say, I love you, already you owe them something. Automatically you owe them their bills, things that they were paying for themselves before they meet you, they start to ask you to pay for them. So this is a different type of women that we're having now. Different from what the prophecy is talking about, because the prophecy is talking about women who will come with their food and their clothes. The only thing they want is inclusion. We just want to be called by your name. We just want to be like others who are called by your name.
But they're actually bringing something to the table.
Yeah?
They're actually bringing something. They're not just coming to take something.
They are bringing something to the table. Yeah. Unlike the ones of today, they bring nothing to the table, and when they go, they want to take the whole table with them.
Yes.
You know, they want to take the whole table and go with it. So here you are talking about people who are bringing something to the table. So you're not talking about welfare system, because people today, they'll say, you have 4 women, how do you maintain them? You don't have to maintain them, they're not children. You and them must maintain the family. You and them must create a family. So right now they're talking about polygamy as if it's a welfare system. The questions they have is like, how are you able to take care of them? No, you're not supposed to. Everybody must take care of them. Otherwise, every woman must be taking care of their fathers. Then we'll bring them to earth here. So in the world today where women are so super empowered, taking care of them should not be your number one issue for you to have a woman in your life. If she's well off than you still have to take care of her. Or are we saying, so these things reduce relationship to welfare system. But that is not what the Bible is talking about. The Bible in the book of Isaiah verse 4 is talking about women who come with their own food and their own clothes.
It's very interesting that I said that, because when you look, and even Proverbs itself, that scripture, and when it speak about the woman, it tell you about this woman. She is someone who rise up early in the morning. You know, she's a merchant ships. You know what I mean? She provide for her family while her kingman is at home. You know, so is a level of overstanding which I think a lot don't understand, because the narrative that, like us in the diaspora out here, and probably for a lot of ones who haven't traveled to Africa to have a better understanding, the narrative is towards polygamy is it's always the woman choice, and you have to be in a stable financial situation to manage, 4 or 5 wives and so forth. That is the narrative that we out here have, and that is even contrary to what the I is explaining here, my lord.
Yes, my lord, because it's a Western concept of relationship. You must remember that when it comes to black people, when it comes to African, we must always look at the effect of colonialism. When it comes to colonialism, we deal with the most sophisticated system of deception that has deceived black people and put them into false consciousness. They falsify our consciousness. Even those who talk about the African consciousness, what they are basically saying is a European consciousness dressed up